AT&T Stadium? No way!
Yeah.
We got lost in Ant's trance there. He's coming in and out of reality.
I like it. I like that he's lost in reality.
It's not bad.
This is the old video version of the podcast. Thank you for joining us on the video side of things, and also if you're listening to this on audio. But you guys should both cross. I guess there's no point to go from video to audio. Once you hit video, that's the ultima.
Sorry, guys. I was getting a crazy echo in my headphones, so I had to ditch them. What is going on, son?
I thought something was wrong, dude.
Hey, crack 'em if you got
'em.
Live from AT&T Stadium, baby.
Can you believe it? How much do you have to pay for those tickets?
I snuck in by week. They really don't guard the place. I just snuck right on in.
Yeah, it's weird.
What's going on, fellas? How's it going? Bye week coming up. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Late cast for us tonight.
I feel like I have a kind of hangover just from that wild trade deadline yesterday.
Oh, man. Okay, so I know we're going to hop into it, but I got to say that I was sitting there at work yesterday right before 1 p.m. It was 1 p.m. for us, 4 p.m. EST, but I was sitting there at like 12:50, just sitting there, refresh, hoping. I honestly, I honestly do this almost every single trade deadline, but I thought this year felt different. I felt like maybe this year they thought, okay, we're pretty much one player away from having a very, very, very good offense. And Jerry was kind of talking some shit. I fully expected them to go for someone.
Well, our boy Barry Grant has been saying it, and now it's like, and maybe you've said it too, Anth. I just don't listen to you as much when you talk. But no, like, it's all a ruse, and I'm starting to believe that conspiracy now.
Yeah, it is. I think it's just to stay in the news and keep yourself relevant. Jerry always talks shit. Actually, there was multiple people that posted on Twitter saying, I guarantee as soon as it gets past the trade deadline, articles are going to come out about how close the Cowboys were to actually be involved in trading for a player, which it almost automatically, as soon as they were past the trade deadline, a bunch of reports came out that they were this close to trading for Brandon Cooks from the Houston Texans. And it's like, how much of it can you actually believe? If they actually thought Brandon Cooks was a player that could get them to the Super Bowl, why wouldn't you just bite the bullet and go for him?
Well, what I kind of couldn't, what I kind of believe is that there probably was talks, whether or not they were like seriously looking to make the trade, or if they were like hoping to get kind of a just a steal of a deal. You know, those are two different things, because one's living in like which the Cowboys are. They are that one solid wide receiver, basically, because where else are we going to really add that value to, away from being talked about in the same conversation as all these other teams who are making that push? And this is the year to make that push. So I'm getting a little more frustrated just thinking about it.
Do you think maybe they're possibly holding out for like a guy like OBJ? But I am going to talk a little bit NFL news that's not Cowboys. It's actually to do with a Canadian guy that is actually from where I live right now, Chase Claypool. Would you guys have given up a second round possibly for Claypool? I know he's had a couple down seasons since his rookie year where he had 9 touchdowns in the NFL, but would you guys have been willing to give up a second round pick to possibly see what the guy could do?
Well, crack him if you got him.
Crack him if you got him, son.
Canadian boy.
Yeah. See, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Chase Claypool, push your mic down. That's why it's so fucking... Sorry. Anyway, got a little distracted.
AJ just I like it when AJ gets I put it out.
Took command.
I put it.
Oh, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, but that's why. That's why. No. Why? What? It should be down tight. That's what it's for.
Everything online told me to keep
fuck
a little
that.
bit of
Fuck
space
online.
between it.
Fuck online. I'm just kidding. Hey, maybe you are right, but that sound's gone now when you talk.
What was I doing? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Was that when you were talking? Okay. Back to point. Claypool, I don't know that he's ever had because I think he came after Antonio Brown left, or maybe I'm wrong there, but
yeah, he did.
Yeah, so he never has really been with, like, it was him, Smith-Schuster, who I really like, but he was young at the time too. I think James Washington was playing, who's on the Cowboys, so that would have been funny. But he was never playing with anyone who was like a standout number one. Maybe there was a quote-unquote number one on the Steelers. So it would be interesting to see him come over here and kind of settle in with, CeeDee Lamb, who draws enough attention, and Michael Gallup, who's really not shown up big to a game yet. But I don't know. I hope he's just kind of on his way after the bye here to be back to 100% football speed. But that would have been a really interesting addition. He's a big boy too, can catch a ball in the red zone.
Would you have done it though?
Would I have done it? Yes.
Yeah,
probably.
The way I look at it, any receiver at this point on the rookie deal that you think could come in and get, say, even at this point of the season, say they join the Cowboys and could get 600 to 700 yards and 5 touchdowns and help open up CeeDee Lamb and help open up Michael Gallup and just take a little bit of pressure off of these guys. I honestly, I'm very convinced that this offense with one more decent wide receiver too could almost be unstoppable. And I just found it very confusing that we didn't even take an attempt. Like Brandon Cooks out of all the guys was kind of my least favorite because of his $18 million that he was going to be owed next year. There was guys like Jerry Jeudy and Chase Claypool who were both on their rookie contracts.
I would have, obviously, to me, if we were going to trade for a Cooks, then it's like, why wouldn't we have just kept Cooper?
100%. If you're going to trade for Cooks, why wouldn't you have just kept Amari Cooper? And that's why at the end of the day, they didn't go for him.
Jeudy, I would have probably taken over Cooks. But I actually think somebody like Chase Claypool, specifically because he's Canadian and he's so local to where we are, would have been at least selfishly more exciting. Would I have given up a second round? Probably not. Not for Chase Claypool.
Chase Clownpool.
So,
well, don't say that to him.
Can't you sign and can't you trade a player and then sign them? Like re-sign a contract?
Oh yeah, you can restructure, and that's the reason. So the whole reason that the Houston Texans and the Cowboys didn't make a deal was the Cowboys were trying to get the Texans to eat some of the $18 million. So I think no matter with the way his contract was already structured, no matter what, he's getting that. That's why we couldn't trade Zeke, right? Because Zeke was no matter what was getting X amount of dollars and was going to count X amount towards the cap. So they were trying to get the Texans to eat a little bit of that $18 million before they traded for him.
It's a very simple question in my mind. You just look at a first and a second are pretty. A first, I don't know that I'd ever trade away. It's too much value, and you can put too much effort into actually scouting a quality top player, or you can put a lot of effort into focusing on that one player. Second round, depending where you are actually projected to draft, I might give that away too. If it's a later round pick, but it can be too valuable if it's high up there, because there's a lot of guys who drop to that second round first day. But third pick on, now you're in the kind of, to me, it tips the scale much more towards players who are actually playing than the value you're more than likely going to get out of that pick. So a Chase Claypool, you can't tell me is not a third round pick player at least.
Yeah.
And who knows, he might turn into that second round well-rounded player. Then you add on the need at the position, and I think that increases the value of the player a little bit more too. I don't know that all of those players, even though we have them kind of tiered in our head, they all would have been, in my mind, worth a third round pick going into it, because again, what are we waiting for next year to make the push?
Well, that's what I mean. Like
the year after that, eventually, now we're gonna have Micah Parsons' contract coming up.
Yeah.
It comes into the fact that, do you think you have a chance of winning the Super Bowl right now? And if you do, you go all fucking in this year.
I was gonna say so, and that's kind of what I was going to chime in is like, look, we have first Barry Grant Jr. on the YouTube live chat says, don't be surprised Steve is in charge, the Cheapskate Supreme. Look at all the second rounders we drafted. How many offensive weapons? ? 0. So
yeah,
you want to chime in there? A couple of comments on TikTok. It's Reed says you still have to pay him next year, which is what you guys are going on. Chubb as well as Cooks would have been $8 million this year. And then Carl Mum on TikTok says we better hope Washington gives us a boost.
And another thing I just want to bring up that I don't think we all know, and maybe someone does out there. They do some weird shit with contracts all the time. So don't tell me that they wouldn't have been able to shuffle fucking money around to make that 18 million, 15 million or something like that.
Exactly. Well, that's the whole thing with when we traded Amari Cooper to the Browns. We were going to eat Amari Cooper's 20 million or whatever it was next year. The Browns ended up restructuring it. So they're paying way less. They're paying that total over like 3 years. Right. So there is ways to cook the books a little bit and to shuffle money around. And it just seems like the Cowboys are the only team in the league that never, ever does this in their benefit. Actually, Barry and I were talking today on Instagram, and he had brought up that next year Dak's his cap hits 49 million. And then in 2024, his cap hits 52 million. Ugh. And then you got a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who the next couple of years his cap's 30 million. So they've structured his contract in a way that at least you're going to get that extra almost 20 million a year to spend on a guy like a wide receiver or a running back or a defensive end or a linebacker. Whereas with Dak, in 2023 and 2024, we're really going to have to get creative on ways of spreading out his money.
It's ready on TikTok says they have 23 mil now. Jerry wasn't giving a man 23 mil for 800 yards.
I 100%. I agree with that. And that's why you didn't see Brandon Cook come. But then what's the excuse with Chase Claypool or Jerry Jeudy? Those guys are both on their rookie contracts. The Broncos were willing to give up Jeudy for a second and a fifth.
I mean, we should have. I don't know why they're like, you kind of you would love postseason to hear like what was going on why they might not have taken Jeudy. It's very surprising that they wouldn't have gone that route. We wouldn't have gone that route.
If you want, and I just pulled this up here. I don't know, Ab, could you?
Yeah, I can bring it up.
Yeah, I have the salary cap. Just because you brought that up, it's interesting to see, because what does that mean? 49 million, 52 million. That sounds huge, and it probably is, considering Patty Mahomes is going to be 30 million. So that's quite shocking. But I always look at it as like, what's the percentage, and is that position worth that percentage? So anyways, yeah, 52 million in 2024, and then it goes down to 21.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that is.
So in 2025, he does go down. So they're going to have to end up backloading his contract. That's the only way to get through it. But back to the trade deadline, again, you saw some people making some moves. I was very hopeful that the Cowboys were finally going to make some moves. I believe we have at least a very talented team that could make some noise in playoffs. And I thought getting a couple pieces would really help that. Obviously, that didn't happen. We did get Jonathan Hankins, who did actually have quite a good game against the Bears on Sunday. The guy was noticeably better. The defensive rushing unit was a lot better with Jonathan Hankins in there than without him. So I'll at least say this. At least the team did try to shore that aspect of it, but I still would have liked to see a little bit of help on offense.
Barry wants to know where Tolbert is. Where is that bum? He says.
Who knows? And I honestly, at this point, he was dressed up. Tolbert was in the lineup at this point, or he was in the lineup on Sunday. He didn't make an impact at all. I expect when James Washington's back, he's pretty much going to supplant Tolbert. Yeah. And hopefully Tolbert has some sort of crazy growth from year 1 to 2, because I don't think we're going to see much from him this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's past the point now of any value coming from moving him. Now you just hope he develops, get him with someone who can work on whatever the issue is that he's having out there. I don't know. Have you heard anything about like what might be the
we're losing Anthony AT&T Stadium.
No,
he's floating. He's gone.
Someone help him, please.
I just had to see how good this Zoom shit was.
Yeah,
that's pretty good, eh?
That's pretty good,
huh? It's pretty good.
Remember when we faked my trip? That's how we were doing it.
Yeah, I know.
You were just in the room next to us.
We committed to that whole.
So Barry said, "Where's Tolbert? Where's that bum?" We just asked that, and then he goes, "Why isn't Turpin getting more offensive touches? It's so annoying to know Stephen Jones is running this team like a mom and pop deli.
Just let the kids cook, Stephen.
Hey man,
the kids
what do
can
you
make
do?
delicious sandwiches.
I will say, I was a little taken aback at how we see how small Turpin is when he's on the field, but like at the sounds of the sideline and you see him by everybody else, you're like, whoa, he is very small.
He's tiny. He looks like a little hobbit or something. He looks like a little lawn gnome.
Aiden Diggs grew up.
One thing I would, like Barry said, though, I would like to see Turpin get in there, and why not just put him in and just send him deep? If they have cover 3, if they're playing a cover 3 shell like the Bears were playing a lot of that game, get CeeDee Lamb out there, get Turpin in the slot, and get Schultz on the line. Send them all deep. Send Schultz on kind of a skinny post, and then send Turpin just deep. And just that's what you do in Madden. What do you do in Madden with the fastest guy? You send him deep, and then you just throw it at him. Why not try it?
Yeah, I mean, you should. If that's going to be part of the playbook, you got to have him running more plays. I don't know how many plays he's on for, but the Cowboys can run those 4 receiver sets with the wide receivers that we have, especially when James Washington gets added to the mix. He's easily a 3 or 4. But then you can basically, have Turpin just running a fucking, what's it called? Sprint route? Streak,
fly,
streak, whatever. Any one of those ones where he's running just down the field as fast as he can. Just like
our what's his face says to Willie Beeman, just like you're in the backyard.
Yeah. No, go to the Cadillac. Like you're on the field and your mom's calling you. It's time to go for dinner. Just run to the Cadillac.
I agree, though. I would like to see Turpin in a game where we were up at 1 point, 49-29 or whatever the fuck the score was. It would have been nice to see. I would like to see Turpin get sprinkled in, or some of these other wide receivers, because at some point you're going to need to figure out what you have in these guys. Turpin's taking up a wide receiver spot. Yes, it's because he could be a home run threat anytime he touches the ball, but it would also be nice to get a little bit of offensive production from him.
Yeah.
Here's a question now then, and it might be easier than I think. So obviously we got Gallup and CD in our AB slot at AB. So for our 3rd and 4th, who are you putting on the field?
Noah Brown for 3 for me.
Yeah.
And then 4, like, does it have to be wide? I guess we're going to talk wide receiver, but I honestly think before you even hit a 4th wide receiver, I'd put Dalton Schultz. And if Dalton Schultz is obviously out there already, I would put Fergalicious or Hendershot out there before a 4th wide receiver.
Yeah. Clone zone and then a 4th wide receiver.
Which sucks because your 3rd tight end shouldn't be your viable option over your 4th wideout.
But it's been awesome to see. Both of those guys they feel to me like, I mean, maybe it's just the rookie fucking shimmer that happens. Are they both rookies?
Who?
Yeah, they're both rookies.
Ferguson and
Yeah.
Hendershot. Yeah, okay.
One's a 4th round. Fergalicious is a 4th round, and then Hendershot was undrafted.
Right, and look, that's awesome that they're both out there playing football and showing up on the scoring sheet. So it's nice to have depth at the tight end rather than just have Schultz and then a bunch of guys who we don't know. You know, it might be because they're so hungry as rookies that they're playing their best football that they ever will, but I'll take it.
So Barry's saying sign OBJ. I don't care for Washington. I wasn't going to go right back to Barry Grant Jr. because I've been going to him all night on chat, but I mean, it is definitely a valid comment.
Sign OBJ, man. I'm all in on that.
Yeah.
Give him as much crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever he wants. Get that motherfucker in the locker room because he would 100% help this team.
Even if it was just a 1 year for the rest of the year.
It's
100%. Even if it's just a 1 year deal for like, at this point, we got 23 million. Throw 10 million at him. If you think a player is going to help you win the Super Bowl this year, why wouldn't you go and pay them?
Look at all the
OBJ
teams.
will 100% help this team.
And the NFL got a lot more skinnier, and I mean in terms of like ranking of quality of team after this. A lot of teams upgraded and a lot of teams downgraded in those trades, right? Like they kind of put their cards on the table and said, we're going for a Super Bowl, and the other guys said, we're going to go for a rebuild here. And
yeah, it's either you traded away some guys for some picks or you're all in. And right now we kind of sat on the fence.
Yeah, and
it's
that. Do you think that's why they maybe didn't do any polls on the wide receivers during this trade deadline because they're thinking about going for OBJ?
I mean, the Cowboys are going to be linked with any big free agent, so you're going to already hear there's already been news that we are going for OBJ. But until something happens, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's an acceptable excuse, really.
Okay, question: if we do sign OBJ, are you gonna get an OBJ jersey?
No,
No,
he'll probably be a 1-year deal.
I mean, I gotta go with my man Curse. After hearing him on like the way that he talks is just a fucking
Curse is a mic'd up. He's the mic'd up man. Like he's got so many good sound bites.
Have you ever watched the Danny Brown show?
No.
Quick folklore here. He just
they
remind me of each other, and I don't know what it is. Like maybe, but Danny Brown's is much more higher.
Yeah,
but it feels like the way he's like got a deeper voice, but their cadence and everything. I wonder if they like grew up in the same place or something like that.
Pierce is hilarious. He's honestly in the mic'd up shit. He's fucking hilarious.
He's just one of my most beloved. And the story. I love his story. I love that his story started with the Cowboys when the bandwagon boys showed up.
Yeah,
because I think he was.
Well, he was kind of everywhere else he was.
Bandwagon 3.
Well, yeah, because Detroit. He was with Detroit. He was with Minnesota. He didn't really do much, and then he was our. I would say beside Micah Parsons, he was our best defensive player last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now Donovan Wilson has shown up and said, "Hey, don't forget about me."
Yeah, Wilson was out a bunch last year with injuries. Yeah, Wilson was always one of my favorite players, and he's a guy like if I had to pick a jersey right now, if I had to buy a Cowboys jersey right now, it'd be Tyler Smith.
Well,
that's who I'd pick.
You got a couple weeks because we all have to get that Thanksgiving throwback jersey.
Oh, speaking of that, do you got
before you pull it up? I want to get to. There's a lot of action going on in TikTok, and I just wanted to show some love. It's ready. Says Dak's never had a defense. Watch what this dude's gonna do. I mean, Anthony, you've been saying that like we haven't had a defense that is exciting this way, and the fact that Dak can kind of rely on the defense to let himself get a little loose. And then another comment in the TikTok to go back to your tight end comment. You can't say you can't make your third wide receiver your TE. Tell that to KC.
True, I guess.
Or look at whatever teams Brady's playing on with Gronk.
Sorry, time out. They misunderstood what I'm saying. What I was saying is our third tight end, third tight end
number 3
is better than our wide receiver 4.
Yes.
So no, guaranteed. Your tight end 1, your best tight end. He could be your best receiver.
Who do you think our best tight end is right now? Then
Schultz.
Schultzy?
Yep.
Yeah, Schultz is our best tight end. But I'm thinking with Hendershot and Fergalicious, I mean, he might be disposable. But right now, Schultz is still the best tight end on the team.
You can see Schultz's numbers with somebody like Cooper Rush throwing, and then as soon as Dak comes back, you should see like his numbers are like astronomically different.
They jive together.
Schultz and Dak, like his like it's 150 yards or something. It's ridiculous the amount, and it's like 12 for 18 or something like that.
And then look at Noah Brown's numbers drop down. I mean, that's also with Michael Gallup being back, but it's like Noah Brown was kind of Cooper Rush's safety blanket, and Dalton Schultz is Dak's safety blanket. It's just you're comfortable with certain guys.
Yeah, it is nice to know though that Noah Brown is has that ability, but it sucks when he's not getting the ball. Dak threw 250 yards last game, which is a nice place for him to be.
That's what I mean. We've talked about this lots. That's where I like it. I like Dak in the mid-20s attempts with mid-20, like low to mid-20s completions with about 250 yards and then a touchdown or two. Like that's with Tony Pollard and then Zeke coming back and this defense. You don't need to. Dak doesn't need to throw for 400 yards to win football games.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, just to get us back on track, kind of
looking tough.
To the
looking tough.
He's quick with it. To the draft chat.
Was there a soundbite there? there?
Yeah.
I don't hear them, so
I know you don't hear.
I try to play it when you guys are kind of not talking, and I know so many times I talk over them, but I can't hear the sound bites when I'm on Zoom for some reason.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Hey, can you hear this one though? Oh yeah, that one comes through.
Okay,
That one came through.
You go with what you wanted to say, and then Sports Pro has a question that
Okay.
I wanted to
Yeah,
bring up, and he's been non-existent on these streams this year.
Yeah,
So
Sports
it's
Pro,
nice
where
to
you
see him
fuck you
show
been,
up.
son?
Look, we just took a nice roundabout woods walk through this trade deadline conversation, and I love it because we'll bring it back here. So
Literally, it was the intro. It was like your intro and everything. And it's like, hang on, let's just get this out of the way, and then boom, 28 minutes later, we're still on it, which I love.
Hey, it's the most important thing that happened with the bye week coming up. This is important talks.
Yeah.
This is important shit. It's good to talk about.
No, so no trades were made. Now we have a first round pick and a second round pick. And of course more than that, but we don't need to go that deep. Which positions are you drafting at this point with those first and second round picks?
Oh wow, we're talking draft talk.
Well, I'm just saying because you didn't get rid of those picks, so
yeah,
it's a little connection here to the trade deadline, and I just thought
we're pretty good with depth right now. Like we're pretty decent in depth on all positions. It seems like I'm full on going with best player available next year. If it ends up being an offensive lineman, a defensive line, like I honestly don't think there would be a wrong pick with our first overall. We're gonna more than likely be later on in the first round. I honestly, as much as people give this front office shit, I trust them with their drafting abilities. They've knocked it out of the park the last 10 years in the first round, at least. And I trust whoever they take in the first round, especially after the Tyler Smith pick. Like we were like, who? Tyler who? Yeah. So I'm more than whoever they go with. But if I had to pick, I would probably go defensive end, to be honest. D-Law's getting up there, and it'd be nice to get an awesome late round first talented defensive end to just throw into this defense and see what he could do. So probably defensive end, to be honest, or linebacker, middle linebacker.
Yeah.
And this is without us really. We don't watch college ball enough to know where the strengths are.
Yeah, I feel like we need to do some deep seated.
There's just too many teams. I can't even keep
up.
Most
people.
I'm excited to learn about it though.
Yeah.
So most people that do the whole draft stuff, they're either super into it, and that's like in the off season it keeps them busy. Like you don't have your team playing, so you go into full study mode. And then the other thing is, in the States, you have a college team that you follow, so you end up playing against X amount of players for 4 years before they get into the NFL. So you know a bunch of players. We don't have a college team. We're Canadian. We don't have a college team we follow really. So it is tough for us. It is a lot. There's a lot of guys in the NCAA that are going to become NFL players for us to, like, I usually learn it from the Instagram, people telling me who they think are good, and then I go and search them.
Well, Tyler Smith is a prime example of that. Didn't know shit about him. Turns out you're gonna buy his fucking jersey.
Yeah. So
right, exactly.
Any of you out there that are heavy into draft folklore, or if you're big into the scouting report and you want to carry us through the off season and help us get draft ready, you're more than welcome to have some guest spots on here. AJ,
guys, you guys are gonna have to carry this for a bit. I'm gonna die. My laptop's gonna die here pretty quick.
Okay. So
plug in. I have an answer to that question I asked.
I'll just tell you what some of the people in the chat are saying. So Barry Grant Jr. is saying, so Sports App says best player first round. Barry Grant is saying we need a big body receiver, which I don't disagree with him. And then Sports App saying O-line second.
So, okay, yeah, I could see that. So for me, I'm thinking, let's, play in the fun fan world.
Yep.
Of we keep everyone signed who we need to keep signed.
Yep.
I would exclude, let's say, Zeke is not re-signed though.
Okay,
in this scenario.
Or
traded,
or
is
so
he
they're
on the
not.
end
They're
of
not. Okay, so Zeke's out of the picture.
Zeke's out of the picture. So what I would do is I'd push like very heavy for a big-bodied wide receiver like Barry just said, or just a top-ranked wide receiver to the point where I might even trade my first and my third to try to move up to get him.
True.
And for second round pick, of course, then if there is if that's depleted, if wide receiver's completely depleted, then just best player available. But, or in this case, it would be a running back, I think, would be the next thing I'd go for in second round.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Because I think the defense is for next year locked in, and I believe in this year and next year as being our kind of best, our peak opportunity at this point, anyways, for actually getting all the way through and taking a Super Bowl home.
Yep. Now, interesting
motherfucker.
take, and there's some in the TikTok live. I don't know why. Of course, it's live on TikTok, but
hey, it's what they call it.
It's Ready saying I'd move back and get more draft capital, which I don't mind, specifically if we don't absolutely need the best person out there. CB2 is a need, says Dempsey, that I think might be a priority in the draft. So like a nice solid cornerback to help kind of balance out.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like if you think about like right now, the Eagles, they have a pretty strong front, and then they have some really strong secondaries. Can we get another person to help complement? I mean, the middle linebacker position, we could use a stud there,
well,
but another heavy hitting cornerback.
You know what? I think middle linebacker would also be a really good strong choice if that's available in the first or second. What we really would have to wait for is what the free agency would deliver, and if history continues to repeat itself, I don't think it's going to change. He's disappeared.
He's gone.
Oh. There he is. Oh, good.
Did you do what I told you to do?
Yeah, I just switched it.
Oh, and we're getting some glitch. Oh, there we're back. We're back.
I switched it. So this is what's happening. It keeps, anyways. Just keep roll with it, guys.
Yeah.
If I disappear, I disappear.
Yeah,
I'll still be able to talk.
It's
a hologram.
We can still hear you. Sports app saying, yeah, Pollard is good, but we need someone else to take snaps. So in your scenario where we get rid of Zeke, obviously you get rid of Zeke, you got to be drafting some sort of running back in that scenario.
Exactly, and this was like that was just a little asterisk I added to mine personally.
Right.
But
fuck with me, DJ.
Crack him if you got him, son.
Crack him if you got him. I was
still
saying,
can't hear your crackums.
I was saying, if history repeats itself, as I think it's going to continue to do, the Cowboys probably won't make a huge splash in free agency. They'll probably let's say
And they're drafting.
Let's say Fowler Jr. I don't know I think he might be on a 1 year, but someone like him, he leaves, they'll replace that caliber. But I don't think we're gonna get any studs in the draft, free agency. Now is the time that players would want to come and play their, like, on either side of the ball, offense and defense, even more not just because it's Dallas and a big name, but because of like the team is like a high quality team. So all the stars are aligning to like this year and next year that they really need to put in that extra effort to find the extra ingredient, whether that comes in giving up draft picks to go ahead, because that kind of seems to be what the teams are doing now. They're like saying, fuck it. Like sell out the future for today.
Chips in on this one, right?
It just pays. It pays. I love to build a team that can last for a long time. That you can have together where the core is together for a long time.
Oh yeah, you got to build through the draft, man. 100%.
I love that, but you also have to go out there and make those
picks.
Yeah.
You gotta gamble at some point for someone.
Exactly.
And it kind of sucks that the Cowboys aren't really in they haven't been. Like, I was actually kind of going back a little bit, just looking at the last 20 years of times that we've actually made splash moves. And there's been a couple times that it's really bit us. So wide receiver wise, like Terrell Owens, that was obviously awesome. Grabbing him was good.
Yep.
Obviously Amari Cooper worked out very well for us for a couple of years. Amari Cooper basically saved our 2018 season himself. But there was also times where we traded for Joey Galloway, and then we also traded for Roy Williams as a wide receiver. Both those picks, we traded first-round guys, multiple first-round picks for those guys, and it just bit us right in the ass. So,
you mean they drafted those guys, right?
No. They traded for them.
Oh, shit.
So Roy Williams, they drafted Roy Williams as safety, but in like 2000, I don't know it off the top of my head, but in like 2008 or 9, maybe even a little bit later than that, they traded for Roy Williams, the wide receiver from Detroit.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking, Detroit went on like this run of 5 years, and 3 of the 5 years, I think they drafted a wide receiver in like one of the top picks of the first round. And
Oh yeah, Detroit was terrible. But we then traded Roy Williams was drafted by Detroit as a first round wide receiver, and then we ended up trading picks for him, and he was just not good. So they might be a little bit of gun shy. When they traded for Amari Cooper, I was pissed. I was super mad that they traded for Amari Cooper, and he ended up being really good. Hey, what's Kilo's flight book thing mean?
Okay, so that's what I was gonna say. Kilo C has booked his flight. He's gonna be at the Thanksgiving game.
Oh,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he just got off the phone with his agent. He's gonna head it. He's just gonna grab some tickets.
Fuck so, yeah. I really wish somehow we could have. I wish we could have got 4 seats now.
I know. Fuck. That's okay. He'll grab tickets, and there'll be. Believe us, there'll be nobody sitting.
Well, remember last time there was that kid and that mom, I think.
Yeah, they left,
and they took off.
And then I just ended up pacing the row.
Yeah. Yeah, we got that.
You unleashed the lion, and he starts pacing around. Hey,
there's one question someone didn't. So it's ready. Said I don't agree with this guy. He was talking about you. They just got huge players in free agents. They just happen to be their own people. I can't remember what you're going to say, but I wanted to give you a chance to clap back. If
no.
What's the argument?
That they got huge players in free agency. I'm talking about the fucking stars of the league, the game changers, not the guys who are coming in and, oh, that's a good player. Like who was it? Who did we pick up in free agency last year that was like a huge pickup?
Yeah.
Curse. Or do you mean like going into 2022?
This,
or sorry,
coming into this year.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we got all we did was really role players.
Hey, I was huge up on Fowler.
You were.
I loved Fowler.
You were big on Fowler Jr., and he has actually been one of our top defensive rotational pieces, to be honest.
Gallup, Gallup was a pick.
Yeah, but when we're talking about free agent,
not like a huge game changer. At least we haven't
seen. What do you mean?
He was a free agent.
Oh, he wasn't a free agent. He was they re-signed him.
That's what. Yeah.
That's
what he's saying.
I don't really lump that in though. He was drafted.
Yeah,
he was technically a free agent, but the Cowboys retained him. I know where AJ's saying it there too. I don't really.
But
technically,
I'll give it to you. That's true, but I think there's an asterisk there too.
Yeah, I'm not going to
put an asterisk all over.
I'm not going to eat your lunch for it.
I think the thing to sum up is every other top contender for the Super Bowl improved their team. Not maybe every other. I'm being a little hyperbolic, but the Cowboys did not improve. They didn't downgrade, but they didn't improve along with a lot of the other teams that did. So, poop on that.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. I wanted to talk about something, and then Adam didn't want me to talk about it, and we had a great segue into it about it was the Thanksgiving Day. Actually, now that Kilo's going to be there for the Thanksgiving Day game, we can talk about this. Zeke kind of leaked a photo of their helmets.
Oh, yeah.
Zeke leaked a helmet photo.
I was teeing up
of what they're going to be wearing on the Thanksgiving Day game, and I think they're slick. I know some people might not like them because they're not the traditional, like they're a little bit of the traditional maxed out, but that helmet, that thing is sweet.
That'll go really nice with the throwback jerseys.
Right.
Yeah, that's just going to be sick.
So is this the jersey then?
Yep. No.
It's
a little. You're right.
It's going to be similar to that.
But it's going to be in this style here.
We all have to buy a jersey like that.
Yes.
Have they shown the jersey or just the helmet?
No, you can buy the jersey. You can buy the jerseys on NFL Shop.
That's their throwback. That's their throwback right there.
If you just type in Thanksgiving throwback jersey, it should come up.
But I'm going Tyler Smith. Who are you guys going?
I'm going OBJ.
You're
just putting it out in the universe?
I want curse, but I don't want to do it, or Kierce, whatever you want to say. But
I'm not going to eat your lunch for mispronouncing his name.
That's how it is. I get stuck into something. That's what it is.
He's still on the team next year too, though, AJ.
Okay, then I will. That's what I did is with Gregory. I know fucking get his jersey. He's signed. I get the notification. Fucking signed for 5 years. Awesome.
For all the Dak,
Then the next message that shows up,
he's out.
oh, the Broncos? What the fuck just happened?
For all
gone.
the Dak backing we give, I might go a Dak throwback.
Oh, Dak would be good.
Dak or Parsons was kind of like high on my list. OBJ I'll get it just because one of us should grab it, but
Yes, one of us should have an OBJ jersey after he never plays for us ever again. After
Yeah, I don't have. I have TP20 as my offensive jersey, so that's a good one.
And you have CD Lamb.
And I got CD Lamb, right?
Yep.
Which I just
you got a Diggs jersey.
CD Lamb. I'm gonna have to put on next game.
Yeah.
I got Diggs.
Are we going packet 88s next game?
So I think I got to go another defense to kind of round it out.
Should we go packet 88s next game?
I don't have a CD Lamb jersey, so that might CD Lamb would be a good throwback one too. But I think I'm going Tyler Smith. He's a rookie. Sam Williams, I think, would also be a decent one because I think the guy's going to be decent going further into his career.
LVE jersey, would you go for that? Sports Apps asking.
No, defo not. But those helmets, they are slick.
I still can't find the jerseys that you can purchase, but I trust you.
Because I almost bought one.
No, I'm also not looking properly. So whatever, it doesn't make for good podcasting to start looking
shopping.
Hey, what do we want to buy?
Welcome to the shopping podcast.
So you shared this article. I didn't read it, so I think that's gonna
naturally.
That's gonna
He's
be
not gonna eat your lunch.
The good thing about articles is we don't need to we don't even need to read them. I'm more interested in your guys' opinion about the said title than us actually reading an article by someone. I'm more interested in the conversation we end up having about the article than actually what's in the article itself.
Yeah, there's three things that are going to happen in an article. One, we're going to comment on it and make our own opinions based off of the title and maybe a couple solid headlines. There he is. There's Dacky boy. Tickling his little chin. And number two, we're either going to make fun of your name, or three,
how you look.
Three, we're just going to call you stupid for your opinion. That's
pretty much. So what was the article, though?
So this is Micah Parsons, LB at LB or DE. Cowboys just want a best version of defensive star.
See, I don't even like I said, I don't even really care about these guys' opinions. I want to know from you guys. What would you guys rather have them at, defensive end or linebacker?
Ooh.
I like whatever they're doing with them right now, and if that's a combination,
splitting the both of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, pretty soon in the positions evolve, like in the utilization of a player's skills. Is not like just limited to like, oh, well, he's a cornerback, so keep him there, or he's a safety, so he stays in the back.
Hybrid. Everyone
should be, we're seeing a lot of and those are the two positions: the linebacker D end hybrid, and then the safety linebacker hybrid, and both of those are like probably going to become a dominant thing that every team wants if it's not already. I mean, it's pretty much taken over the DNLB position for the elite status. You've got to kind of be both from a linebacker or you don't really see it go too much the other way, do you? From a defensive end to a linebacker, they usually
no. Well, the only time a defensive end will kind of be in that hybrid is if you're in a 3-4. If you're running a 3-4 defense, then a defensive end is kind of that hybrid. But if you're in a 4-3, more than likely the guy that's the hybrid is going to be someone that's kind of like a Micah Parsons more than like a. I'm trying to think of a good 3-4. Like Von Miller's a great 3-4 defensive end, but he's actually an outside linebacker, right? So it's one of these very skewed things. Like DeMarcus Lawrence would never be able to be like the hybrid type player. He's your prototypical 4-3 defensive end, right? He's great at stuff.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
The issue with him, with Parsons playing DE, because he doesn't necessarily have the size as a defensive end, it's a little bit harder on his body, sprinting in like that and taking those bumps. So, crack him if you got him.
Crack him, you got him, son.
But, I mean, this comment from Mr. Cooper Gazelle in TikTok says he's a hybrid, once-in-a-lifetime talent. Let Dan put him anywhere he sees fit.
Agreed.
And that's, I mean, and then everybody's continue to chime in. This is Quinn's thing. Vic's great year was the hybrid Falcon Super Bowl run. Vic Beasley did it with Dan Quinn in a 4-3. Dan also did it with Bruce Irvin in Seattle. So
Dan Quinn's a mastermind, man. And thank God Ultra Cowboy's not in here to tell us how bad he is. But Dan Quinn, to me, we said this. We've talked about him a lot of times. Dan Quinn is a mastermind. Micah responds to him and respects the guy so much that they're just such a good match that they're going to, no matter where Dan Quinn puts Micah Parsons, Micah's going to give you the best version of himself. So I don't think there's a wrong spot that you could put Micah Parsons.
Even when Micah Parsons gets beat, he doesn't get beat.
He's the fastest dude on the field, and he's a defense. He's a linebacker.
Not anymore, though.
Did you see him running? Did you see him running? Did you see him running for that tutty?
Oh,
He
yeah.
was just, of course, we were losing our shit.
Oh, yeah.
But he was like stumbling his way.
And he was holding the ball like a loaf of bread.
But he's so quick that no one could catch him, even when he's just like.
He's the best athlete on the field at any time, and I don't think there's a wrong place you could put him. He's that dude that even on that fumble return, he was rushing the quarterback, and he ended up chasing the play down to recover a fumble. So he's going to make a play no matter where he is on the field.
Hey, what do you think? Who do you think would win if you took the best playbook of today in the NFL, rated by the NFL players and coaches, and then you took the best defensive playbook of, say, the 2000 or 2010, whatever made the most, like, would it be super dominant, or would the defense be able to hold up? Like, how? And you could reverse that.
You're
too.
talking about the best defense versus the best
not
offense?
defense players, just like playbook. Like, what? So it's a bit of a like fun.
It's one of those
mind.
It's like one of those Disney what if shows.
Yeah.
Can I be the lame guy that's kind of goes against it?
Yep.
The thing with like anything from here to in the past to the 40s even.
Yep.
There's been offensive game plans that have come out to beat that, right? So like something that was good in the 80s that took the NFL by storm, or something that came out in the 70s or the 90s. Well, now in the 2020s, there's been something that has been able to been brought out to counteract that defense, right? So it's like
it's always that's what that exactly, and that was my point. The game is always evolving. That it's so funny to think that what will the defensive end, or what will the Micah Parsons position look like in 5-10 years?
Yeah,
as they continue to get more and more of these players because what happens is the Steph Curry effect, and maybe it happened before him too.
Preach it to us.
Steph Curry came in and showed this is how you can play basketball too, and started just dominating 3 points. And now
changed the whole game.
It did. Younger kids start to see that and go, "Oh, okay, I can still be a basketball star and play with my shooting. I just have to become the fucking best shooter ever."
I don't have to be 6'9" like LeBron James and be an absolute specimen of a human. I just need to be extremely good at this one aspect of the game.
Exactly. And I'm sure he's great at all, like most aspects
obviously
of the game, right?
Like we're not going to say he's not a good basketball player outside of shooting 3-pointers, but you've actually said this at AJ. You've said this a few times this season. It seems like this is finally the year that maybe the defensive playbooks are finally catching up with this offensive heavy NFL. Like the last 10 years have been offensive heavy, lots of points. This is the first year that I can remember that there's been like a lot of 21-17 or 24-21, like a lot of low scoring games. Maybe finally the defensive minds and the defensive coaches of the NFL are finally starting to kind of catch up with how you have to play certain schemes in the NFL. And then you're going to see a shift in maybe defensive football for the next 5 or 6 years. Then it's switched back to offense and then defense. It's always like that. It's like,
yep.
It's kind of like, and this is a very bad a bad analogy, I guess, but it's kind of like the prisoner. It's kind of like a prisoner and like a correctioner officer. One's always trying to beat the other, and they're always trying to come up with a new way to get past each other.
Yep.
And I think the NFL is the prototypical thing of that. It's like one's always trying to defeat the other and come up with certain schemes to defeat the other one.
Well, Yeah.
Prison talk, baby.
Prison talk. Hey, let's see if those bots come.
Whoa, I like that. I like that in mid convo.
I don't want to blow that in your face. I had some onions for dinner.
I know. I didn't say it because but I walked in here, and when it's like someone either had a nice quick workout at the gym, or someone had like Burger King, because Burger King you always smell like onions, and it just smelled like that oniony kind of like body sweat. That's what it smelled like in here.
Well, that
AJ
actually
had some
might be
onions
my
for-
body sweat too.
AJ just had straight up like yellow onions for dinner, just biting into them like an apple.
I gotta get this down.
Yeah, I gotta get down. Ad's on his way, but I'm starving.
Yeah. Well, hey,
Um,
just keep playing them how you're playing them, and don't change. That's the answer for DL or LB.
I think that's the answer. You put Micah anywhere and he's going to make a difference. You could put Micah in at safety, or you could put him in at cornerback, or you could put him in at running back, and I still think he would be an NFL player.
well, I would hope he'd be an NFL player.
But you know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
can't take any other NFL player and put them in any position and they would succeed. I honestly think Micah Parsons could make an NFL team even at cornerback, and the guy's 250 pounds or 240 pounds. There's not a lot of guys that play linebacker that could get put in any position on the field and still be successful at it.
Yeah, and he is still just getting his
He's a pup.
NFL legs. Yeah,
He's a pup.
he's super comfortable now, and he's the type of player. Look, you see him out there, and he's been having a bit of a limp the last couple games. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, I've noticed it a
A
bit.
few times, but he's the type of guy, and I trust in his football smartness to know when it's something that he needs to stay out for and not. And like just seeing him like tough through a Charlie horse, which probably is what it's close to what he's feeling there. I know it's closer to what I know what it would feel like anyway. But like that's I like to see that toughness. And
It's
I'm
like
sure-
when we limp. It's like when we limp into the podcast and we just know we still have to do it.
Yeah. Crack him. Just fucking crack him, okay?
I'm here drinking for you guys at 10 a.m., but I should be on a couch somewhere resting.
But I should be at work.
I will say this too about Micah before we move on from him. He also has that combination of mentality. Like, you can get guys that are amazing athletes, but they don't have that. I never want to be beat. I don't want anyone to be better than me. I want to be the best guy.
Yep.
Micah Parsons is showing that he has that mentality. Like, he wants to be the best person on the field at all times, right?
Well,
And not every great athlete has that.
Look at how many times so far this season that he could have gave up because that person was a little too out of his reach, and then he closed them and he actually prevented a touchdown, or he got a fumble recovery. So it's like Micah Parsons is showing, and I think the rest of the defense rise to that challenge, that you don't stop, you don't give up, and you continue to put all the effort onto the table.
Yeah.
Boner alert.
It is a boner alert.
What do you
Boots
got
on the
in
ground
chat?
says, I apologize if you guys already discussed this, but my bold prediction before the Sunday, Cowboys sign Suh. You heard it here first, unless you already said it, in which case I repeated it.
No, we didn't. So yeah, he's a free agent right now. So Sue, yeah, or Ad
Suh.
wants to call him Suh, dude.
Suh, dude.
Dude.
Yeah, Sue is Ndakam and Sue still out there. To me, I'm sure he'd help the team, but I've never liked the guy. He's a great player, but I don't know. He reminds me
Like,
too
personally?
much of maybe me if I was 330 pounds and played in the NFL, just like a dickhead. That's
But
just
don't we kind of have that role filled?
kind of, sort of, a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of what they targeted with Jonathan Hankins.
Yeah.
But Sue's
I'm just
Sue-
saying, I'm not disagreeing with Boots on the
I
ground.
know what you mean.
I'm just
They've
saying
already
that-
tried to shore that up.
Yeah. So
I want OBJ, baby. I want OBJ.
it is. It's the fucking wide receiver. OBJ is
Yeah.
the last.
I want
the
OBJ.
last-
Yeah, I told you I want that. Yeah, Suh is a jerk, says Boots, but he stuffs the run, and it's such a Jerry move.
He does stuff to run, and he's mean. He brings that mean.
Imagine they bring Son for 18 million.
If you guys call him Suh one more time, I'm gonna drive to
I'm just calling
Chilliwack.
him-
Hey.
Imagine they bring in Sue.
Seth?
Sue, lip to my Sue.
For 18 million. Sign him for 18 million. You know what? Actually, speaking of run stoppers, you know who's been playing very well for the Commanders? John Ridgway, the Vanilla Gorilla.
Sorry,
Really?
what did you just say? I wasn't paying attention.
John Ridgway, our 5th round draft pick from Arkansas, the Vanilla Gorilla,
Yep.
who was a mean dog. He's been playing pretty decent for the Washington Commanders, who we were hoping would end up on our practice squad, and the Commanders took him off the waiver wire.
It seems like every
Sons of
time we
bitches.
move something away, that person plays better on a different team.
Or maybe we just notice it because they came from us, but
Yeah, possibly.
one of those things. I mean, he's looked good.
What's he doing? He's just playing good football.
Yeah, he's stuff in the run. He's playing mean. He's the Redskins, or sorry, the Commanders football team, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
You're gonna get us
You're
canceled,
gonna get a
bro.
fucking canceled.
You're gonna try to get us
demonetized.
canceled, you fuck.
You know what? I think it would just be best for us.
Hey, do you want to go? Do you want to do a throwback to last week to look at 6 major takeaways
Sure.
from the Cowboys' thrashing of the Bears?
Nobody
Yeah.
cares about the Bears.
The Bears.
I will say this: Fields is a
He's
better
legit.
football player than I thought,
Fields is legit.
and now he gets Chase Claypool.
Yep.
I think that's a nice addition for him.
Well,
Yeah, but they're losing their whole defense.
I
It's
know.
very strange. I think they've basically
I mean, we didn't even
submitted.
Yeah, we didn't even bring up about. I mean, not that it really matters to us anymore that Roquan is not on the team. Like we've already faced them, but like why? I mean, that's another one. Why didn't we try and grab him? I know, obviously,
fifth year option was already he's another guy.
Tough.
Would be awesome to take him for 1 year and hopefully win a Super Bowl, but you're losing him the following year. So say we'll just talk about Roquan for a sec. Say you did give up you did give up.
What are we gonna be doing?
Say you did give up picks for him. See how I just let you do your thing and then I just went after.
I know, I like it.
Say we did give up picks for Roquan.
Did you freeze? No, he's alive still. He's pretending he's freezing.
Say we did give up picks for Roquan Smith. It would basically be just picks for this year because he wouldn't be on the team next year. So it was probably a good move that they didn't go for him, but he would 100% made this defense absolutely terrifying.
Would have been definitely a massive improvement.
Yeah.
But only for those few.
For this year.
I don't know.
Pretty much.
If you had to give up, and what did they trade for him? First round, of course.
I think they gave a 2nd and a 5th. Kind of seemed like that was the going rate for everyone.
Yeah. Well, here's the other shitty thing. When draft picks become less valuable because people are more willing to like throw them away because they see less value in them, well, that goes league wide. And now your biggest asset, if you're not willing to trade away teams, now you have less capital in a trade, right?
Yeah.
You might start seeing some player combinations. Or
6 major takeaways from the Cowboys thrashing of the Bears in Week 8. Let's see what we got.
What do you? Sorry. How about we get? Has anybody seen them? Can you guess? Have you looked at the article?
I haven't read
Fuck.
it yet.
Have you looked at?
Oh, you know what we do need to do though after this? We'll storm through this one. I want to see I want to see the power rankings. I want to see the power rankings, and then I want to see the NFC East competition for the week coming up.
And then I want to see your panties hit the floor.
And then I want to see those panties hit the flow. Panties hit the flow.
20 minutes ago, rewind.
Oh yeah.
Is that why your camera just put you as a half body person because it can't detect anything in the lower region?
Just white legs.
Hey, look at this.
Oh,
there we are. Hey,
nice. So
shout out to the Landry Hat, the home of the Cowboys Can Fan podcast. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't liked this video, Do better.
What we're cheering
We
at,
will do better.
what we're cheering at, audio listeners, is we're just scrolling through this article on thelandryhat.com, the official home of the Cowboys Can Fan podcast. Like Canadian Fan, and we're just scrolling through, and they have a little widget here of our podcast just popping up on the article. I like that. So
Everyone do their cartoon.
We definitely should. I mean, I feel like we should.
we got a 1980s poster idea.
Yeah, we have a
in
good
mind.
1980 poster idea, which will make it more live action. I think the first year we were just embarrassed to put our own faces on there, so we went the animation route. But now it's just like we got to get rid of it. Anyways,
You guys look like hills
I don't
have
hate
eyes.
it, man. To me, it's fine. It looks like Ant's a giant, and we're fucking, and we're running away from.
It kind of looks like your character got like your guy got. It's like my guy punched you in the face.
Oh
and
yeah,
then I'm like, ah.
I definitely have like 1990 wrestler toy face.
When someone buys them, be like, "What the fuck is
This
this?
doesn't look like Shawn
What the
Michaels.
hell is this? This doesn't look like Shawn Michaels."
AJ looks like a mutant in that picture.
Well, he's like the first one. My nose was like fucking bulbous. I was like,
If
"Can
it
at
makes
least
you
shave
feel
my
any-
nose down?"
Oh,
If
that's
it makes you feel better, AJ, you don't look like that.
yeah, you don't. Ant's first guy had like no neck. It was like his.
I look like Jonah Hill with veneers.
Yeah, you look like that's exactly what you look like. I'll find the first iterations and we can post them as version ones of the logo that the
That's
artist
what we do.
sends
Hey,
back.
It's I think we're gonna after this season we'll do a nice rebrand.
Ooh.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 6 things thrashing
Yeah.
of the Bears. Number 1
Penalties.
was penalties, and more penalties. Which thinking about the game, I don't really remember penalties against us being a big thing. I remember penalties helping us a little bit. Is that what they're saying? Penalties against the Bears helped us.
This just seems to be an ongoing theme with this team, but penalties continue to be a huge issue, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Even just through the first half, the Cowboys had 4 penalties. Offside penalties, roughing the passer penalties, no matter what it is. And Jose Ultra Cowboy has been quoted on the Cowboys Can Fan podcast live stream saying, "This team has no discipline." And this is what this article is saying. They keep making undisciplined actions, which keep leading to extended drives for our opponents. For the defense, their worst enemy is themselves as they keep allowing teams to get back into games with unnecessary flags.
So what I'm thinking out of that, the one thing I remember from the game is Trevon Diggs' interception. We were all going nuts thinking we
Oh,
were going
yeah.
to shotgun.
Yep.
And then a penalty roughing the passer from Golston ended up switching it back, and then they scored the next
That's
play.
right.
So that was a big penalty. But besides that, I honestly thought there was a couple big Bears plays that they got flagged. It wasn't as bad as some of the games, but we ended up with 8 penalties? That's still pretty bad. Like, I'd like us to be around the 5,
4
4 or
penalties.
5.
No,
this was how many penalties?
there
we
were
had?
6 penalties each, and
Oh.
the Bears had it for 45 yards and 41 yards for the Cowboys.
So to me, number 1, we've seen way worse.
Oh yeah.
And I guess it only matters if they actually accept the penalty, but
Yep.
that doesn't include. That's only accepted penalties. So maybe there was more, but if
I'm not
they,
gonna eat your lunch for that.
I don't want to eat anyone's lunch for that.
I would
I'll eat
eat
my own
someone's
lunch.
lunch if it was a great lunch, but this instance, to me personally, watching the game, I didn't think penalties against was a big detriment.
You're not eating this lunch.
And I'm not eating this lunch. I don't think that was a good number 1. to
I'm
be
not
honest.
eating that lunch.
Landry Hat, love you. Don't think that was a great number 1.
Hey, that's what we're here for. The honest opinion. That's what you get us. That's what fucking true love is, man.
Hey, that's what true
True love
baby. Fuck
you tell somebody, hey, you stink.
I
Go
don't
brush
agree-
your
I
teeth.
don't agree with you.
When you tell someone you've eaten onions,
Yeah. When you tell someone they smell like BO even though they were eating onions, crack them if you got them.
crack me, you got him, son.
We still don't hear you. Psst, so I gotta make
I know
the
it's
sound every
too,
time
too
you
high,
talk.
too high
So
pitched.
I want give me some behind baseball because I know the two of my pinnacle cowboy voices that I listen to. One, of course, is here on this podcast being Anthony Bessie,
And Skip Bayless.
and number
Stephen A.
2
Smith?
being All Even podcast himself, Barry Grant Jr. So, and I know that you two probably had a nice, fiery but friendly Instagram back and forth. So, give me some insight on Have you finally won
No.
the battle? No.
No. I haven't. I
And
haven't won the battle
I'm
with
talking
because
about.
today
Sorry, and I'm talking about Dak Prescott
I know what
coming
you're talking
back
about.
and Cooper Rush winning all those games and helping the Cowboys or not losing those games and helping the Cowboys get to where they are today. So
Well, this is why Barry just randomly on a Wednesday is sending me how much money Dak's going to be against the cap, because like
yeah,
he's kind of hinting that, yeah, Dak's winning us games, but next year you're not going to be able to sign someone to help the team because he costs so much against the cap.
he's
I
not
asked
wrong.
Barry when during this whole Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott fiasco, I said, Barry, what's it going to take for Dak Prescott to prove to you that he is a decent quarterback and should be the quarterback of the team? I said, an NFC championship appearance, which the Cowboys haven't done in 26, 27 years. And Barry said no. So it's one of those things. Barry has such a vendetta against Dak Prescott, and he's just not sold on him, and he's not sold on his price. And I
Well,
respect that. I respect that enough, but
No.
I think it's something that we'll never really see eye to eye on. I was fully against the Dak Prescott contract when it happened, but now where you see what quarterbacks are getting paid, it's hard to argue against what he's getting paid. You're gonna if you don't pay $40 million a year, you're gonna get some schlub playing quarterback.
Well, I think the biggest gift, if I'm not mistaken, is that Parsons' contract is going to end in 2 years, and that's the same time that Dak goes from his 49 and 52 million down to 21 million. So that aligns at least nicely for giving more cap space to pay that to Parsons so he can stay on the team. So he's not wrong. Those 2 years are going to be the next 2 years are going to be really hard to.
The only way you're getting a better deal for a quarterback is if you draft one. If you draft one to take over for Dak Prescott and he ends up being a good quarterback, you're not going to sign a quarterback anywhere in the NFL for a decent amount of money that's going to be able to win you football games. You're either going to have a backup that comes out and plays very well, or you're going to have to draft someone who you can hold for 5 years.
And to me, that's a way bigger risk to bring on like a fresh rookie quarterback. Like, how many quarterbacks get drafted one of one and they just fall completely flat, or they're duds, and it's like, well,
Got to get lucky, man.
So I like, yeah.
It's funny because with the NFL, with all these metrics they have, the drafting process is still not a perfect science. Like you get Dak Prescott, for instance, a 4th round pick. You get Russell Wilson, a 3rd round pick. You get Tom Brady, a 6th round pick. Like there's guys that slip through the cracks, and you need to just be lucky. When you draft one, you need to hope he somehow ends up being that guy. We missed the rookie window with Dak Prescott. We had the best deal in football when we had Dak and Zeke both on their rookie contracts, and we failed to win a Super Bowl in those 5 years. After that, it's an uphill battle as soon as you have to pay these guys.
Yeah. What's our next point there, AJ? AJ? That's a hard. I've been looking for that soundbite for so long. I can't find the episodes where Carmella, he's a kid. He's going to eat his life. I can't find the episode where she goes, AJ, but I will find it.
I mean, here's something, and I want to hear it. I got to add that to our list, by the way. 3rd point, Tony Pollard, or as I like to call him,
Tony
Pollard, could and should be the lead back.
TP20.
Coming into this game, I was personally very interested to see how Tony Pollard would handle.
I mean, we don't have to read the article. We can just discuss ourselves.
Yeah,
Tony, do you guys think Tony Pollard should and could be the lead back? Yeah, he could be. Yeah, maybe he should be. But I like both. I like both Zeke and Tony Pollard getting like 15 carries a game.
I mean, look, I think if you just had Tony Pollard in the backfield there, eventually teams are going to be able to scheme against it. But that was really impressive what he did against the Bears too, because they still had Smith out there, so wasn't a super depleted defense. But yeah, I would have Zeke. To me, I don't see. I mean, I know Zeke starts, but I don't see that. I don't really see him being as. I guess yes, he is the lead back, but I just like how they play TP. I don't see that they utilize TP as a backup necessarily.
I don't think there's a one RB1 and an RB2. I think they're both starting caliber running backs, and I think they're playing them both very well.
Yeah, I'd like to.
And sorry, Ad.
I was gonna say, just what you're saying. I think I like what we got going on with them. I think we absolutely need them. I was going earlier on in the TikTok chat. I was just saying that we're big fans of Zeke. Pollard can't block like Zeke. We still need him out for those types of plays, and just give him the tough yardage and have Pollard get a little bit more reps. I think the problem with what we see now is that neither back gets the flow. Like they can't get into that rhythm. They don't get that kind of the touch and feel of it. So if I was to look, I would say give Zeke those tough yards, but give him a couple more reps less than Pollard, and have Pollard be a little bit more of our true RB1, I guess you could say.
I want to see both of them dance.
Yeah.
Look, that's not a bad point though. Getting a player into rhythm. I mean, TP did not have an exceptional amount of rushing yards. I'm just looking here. He had 14 carries. He just went off on a whole bunch of.
That's what I mean. There's no reason that Tony Pollard can't do exactly what he did last week with Zeke in the lineup. There's games Tony Pollard's going to get 14 carries with Zeke in, and there's going to be games against the Eagles, for example. Tony Pollard shut down and Zeke did well. It's a tit for tat thing. The NFL is by no means a one running back league now. You need two good running backs, and we have two very good running backs. There's maybe the Browns that are ahead of us with Kareem Hunt and Chubb. But besides those guys, I would say we're top 3 in running back tandems, and you need a very, very good running back tandem.
What do you think about Prescott's impact on the ground? He ran for 5 rushes, 34 yards, 6.8 average. Let's just round up to 7.
Because that's what we do here.
That's what we do.
And baby, that's what we do.
And
so before Dak's gruesome ankle injury that made us all want to barf in our beer, he was such a dual threat. Like, you wouldn't really call him a dual threat quarterback because he was still a thrower, but he was so good on the ground and he was so good in the red zone that it's nice to see them in the red zone going for touchdowns. Hey, Tay. I'm glad to see him. Crack him if you got him, son. I'm glad to see that they're incorporating that back in their game plan. Yeah, compared to before, where they were scared that he might re-injure his ankle.
I like the utilization in the red zone, because red zone is a pressure zone, right? There's a cap on how deep you can go, so the defense can play kind of softer in that and take away the pass a lot easier. So having Dak do his little weird shuffle foot run that he does, his little fucking fast forward walk run that he does into the end zone.
It doesn't Anth look like he's playing? He's a cutout of Dak's head right now.
Yeah, come closer to the screen.
No, come closer to the screen.
Come closer.
Because
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Anyways.
Yeah, touchdown!
Hey, it's a bobblehead. Dak Prescott here on the Can Fan Podcast.
So, yeah, of course, a mobile quarterback, that's going to be a nice, deadly addition. And God help us that we don't see that fucking ankle twist again. Unless it happens to an eagle. Just kidding.
What's our next one up here? Dak, the run. Sorry, as you're scrolling down, I just wanted to say in the chat, we are big fans of Dono Wilson. We were talking about it earlier, but yeah, we love Dono Wilson.
Okay. Hey.
Hey.
Well, I love Ant's head.
Okay. It's that.
How'd you do that? Is that a fucking thing? Hey, audio listeners, you're only going to get what we're laughing at here.
I'm stretching my neck, bro.
On the YouTube and TikTok.
He's a Bengal
live stream.
boy.
Well, you can get it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll get back out of this. Sorry.
After the fact,
baby, that's what we
fun's
do.
more fun.
Yeah.
You can come in here.
We're out here having a great fun. Big head Ant.
Fucking big head. Okay.
Fat head. You know when you watch the NFL and then all of a sudden it'd be like, yeah, get the NFL fat head, and you see like Chad Johnson or Ocho Cinco on the wall, and you're like, oh, I would totally love to get one of those fat heads. This is truly a fat head. So number 5, the clone zone. I like this. Number 5 is the tight end room is one of the deepest in the leagues.
It is
Definitely Schultz and his rooks. That's clone zone or Schultz and the rooks, because they all look alike.
They're definitely doppelgangers of each other.
Yeah.
Schultz calls them Schultz's Angels.
Schultz's Angels.
Let's go, Angels.
Hey guys, let's all dress up and we'll be one another this Halloween.
He doesn't talk to them. He
you.
just snaps at them.
Yeah. Come on, boys. Hey, you. And hey, you get a touchdown, then you hog tie me.
Yeah.
Okay. You get the touchdown, and then you hog tie me. Like find me and hog tie me.
Oh, people are gonna love it. It's gonna go viral.
Schultz, next time one of them scores, he's like, okay, we're gonna try reverse cowgirl.
No, you know that stretch where it's like you lay on your back and you put your feet and then you like put them up in the air? Do that to me. Schultz, what are you talking about?
Dear Lord, but yes,
I agree with it though. I
can't
think
say
we got our
that-
deepest tight end room in the league we got 3 guys that could step in and carry the load.
Hey, do you know much about their blocking?
Schultz and the Henders. The chat's going off about it. About our. Did y'all see the TE brothers on the sidelines? And then an amazing stat for you about tight ends. I think Dallas is 100% in red zone this year with their tight ends.
Nice.
I can't even begin to go look.
I mean,
so I'm gonna
we'll
take
just
it.
agree with it because that's a stat right
Hey,
there.
We love that folklore,
Give
right?
me 80%.
Fucking 70. Yeah.
Give me
100
75%.
No, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like the 80% is great in the red
Yeah.
zone.
Amazing.
60% of the time it works.
Adam,
every
on the
time.
screen, you have us reversed. We should.
I know. I hate it.
Oh, I just did it because we both kind of looked a certain way. So
Oh, what? Yeah.
I usually have us like this.
It looks like it looks like you guys are looking at a different podcast.
Oh, really?
There we go. Oh wait,
Here, I'll move
this
us.
is on the.
Oh,
phone.
add switching. There it is.
Because usually I'm. Oh yeah, I guess so.
The only thing you could ask more for is another like Schultz. Believe it or not, he's a top 12.
Top
tight
5,
end.
I'd say, even
Top
AJ.
5, sure. I'm being.
I'd say he's top 5.
Well, not on my fantasy numbers. He has
Well,
been top 5 this year so far.
he's gonna.
He's
end,
been hurt.
He'll
he's been
end
banged
up
up.
top 5, but
He's not gonna eat my lunch though.
you're not gonna get there's not a lot of those in the league, right?
No,
to have
totally.
two guys show up who can catch, and what I was gonna say is I don't watch their blocking. Do you know?
If
Have you paid
Hendershot and
attention?
Fergie,
Yeah, have you paid attention to their blocking? Is it quality?
Schultz actually last game
Schultz will
blocked
whip
very
them.
well.
No,
Schultz actually blocked
yeah.
very well last game.
And how about
and-
the clone zone?
The clone zone's been decent too, but I noticed actually when they're doing running plays, they're still going to Schultz's side. And I think maybe for a dude that obviously blocks people on social media, he obviously hears what people are saying. So maybe he actually worked on his blocking because he hasn't been that bad this year in blocking, to be honest.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's not only blocking people on social media, is what you wanted to say.
Well, remember, Schultz is only
And-
25 years old.
What are the 5 fundamentals, boys?
Oh, the 5 fundamentals: perseverance, integrity,
integrity,
Strength.
loyalty, strength,
strength,
love.
love.
Yeah, nailed it.
For those of you who are new to this, we said a couple comments one episode, and Schultz ended up blocking us
Twitter.
on Twitter and Instagram.
It was
And
when
Instagram,
it was
yeah.
when he was in his trying to play coy with his little contract dispute
Yeah.
with us, and we said,
Yeah, and I
"Fuck
just-
that."
I just privately messaged him myself naked with "you're a bitch" written across my chest,
So what's number 6?
and I got blocked. Super weird.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6 is the defense still cannot.
Struggle.
Still-
Are you okay? Let me read this. The
I was try- I was
defense
trying to- I was
continues
trying to
to
say it
struggle
at the
against
same
the
time.
run.
No, I wanted us to say it at the same time, but I think he thought I was trying to cut him off, which I was not.
No,
I agree with this completely. The defense has struggled against the run. Granted, the Bears are the top running offense in the NFL. We did give up
allegedly.
200 allegedly. We did give up 240 yards against them, and at some point we need to figure out to stop the run.
240 yards against, but you got to include that, good or bad, they had 131 passing yards, so they only had
Yeah.
370 total yards,
Which is pretty good.
offense. Yes.
Total defense allowed 370 yards isn't terrible, and you're gonna pick your poison, right? We said, I mean, I would have liked to see them obviously hold the Bears to less than 240 yards, but the Bears obviously have a format that works. They have a formula, they have a offensive game plan that works. They're first in the NFL. They're going to get yards. At the end of the day, they scored 29 points. We still held their passing offense. You can't be mad about it. I don't want to see going forward it being a bigger issue.
That's why Boots is saying that. Boots says, which is why Jerry is getting in brackets Sue.
Adam.
Hey, if I told you
Which is why Jerry is getting in brackets Sue.
It-
What he said.
in brackets Sue.
So guess what?
If I told you the Cowboys had 180 rushing yards and 190 passing yards, would you be happier with that?
I'm just. Do you want me to play into your game? You little sucker fish. I'm just happy.
An honest question.
Okay, so for me, I don't give. I honestly, to me, give up 500 rushing yards. I don't care as long as we beat the team. People put a lot into stats. Every time you play a team, anything could happen. It doesn't matter if they're a bad team. It doesn't matter. Like, I honestly, at the end of the day, I don't really care. And I know this sounds very, I don't know, it seems like a stupid answer, but I don't really give a shit about stats as long as we win. It's nice to see patterns and to try to put stuff together, but each game's its own entity in the NFL, right?
Yeah. And they were on a roll scoring points. So
they were good. The Bears are good. The Bears have a very good offensive rushing attack.
The reason I picked that 60 yards, though, was that's how much Fields ran for. So let's say we play a team where the quarterback's not going to run, but he throws a little bit more. Would 180 yards rushing and I mean, it still is bad. Yeah. Either way, I think like it's a lot of rushing yards.
If we can keep a team, you don't want to see a team go for more than 200 on you.
Yeah.
So the Bears did go for 240 with obviously Fields as a kind of a dual threat quarterback. You don't really want to see a team go for more than 200 on you. I'll leave it at that, really. But we still beat them by 20 points.
As you guys are going through it, chat's saying a win is a win. Boot says the only stat that matters is W's and L's. I mean, obviously we're looking at this. How do we shore up our shortcomings?
Well, yeah, because when you get
did
into
you just do a peekaboo and you just disappeared?
yeah.
Woo, he's
Keep
gone.
going. Keep your
He's
hands
gone.
forward and lean back. I'll lean. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, ain't that funny? Ain't that pretty? He's doing it good. There's
the
a
thing,
seventh thing too.
No.
the thing that makes me nervous is in playoffs when we eventually play a team that has a great passing and a great running defense. You have to be able to stop the run to force them to pass. Obviously, we were lucky with the Bears because they don't have a very efficient passing game, but you're going to run into a team that eventually has good both, right? Like the Eagles are showing that they have a good running game and a good passing game. Well, eventually, you're going to have to be able to shut down both to want to make it to the Super Bowl.
Wilson Santiago says, with this run defense, don't expect to go far in the playoffs.
Yeah, and kind of what I was just saying. I mean, I don't know.
It's
playoffs.
Nice.
Just a quick one. It's hard to get off sometimes.
Finally.
The run defense is the weak part of the defense. That's no doubt.
The team, I'd say right now, probably.
Yeah, of the team, sure, no doubt about it.
Lieutenant Dan.
Will it be a problem? I don't know. I think there's a lot of disruption, and you know what will change that for most teams is now having an offense that can score on the first two downs, get up by 2 scores, or up by 10 points, and now the other team's defense has to play a little bit more risky. They're going to be throwing it more, and that's where we can excel. So
yep.
the ability to score early is a big. It really sets the tone and sets a pace.
Yeah, that was a nice tonight. It was nice to not see them go 3 and out right off the bat.
Yeah,
all the time. Here's actually
or have a couple good plays and get to 3rd and 3 and then just fucking.
Here's a good question from Mr. Cooper Gazelle from TikTok. Out of all the top teams, who has an unstoppable runner? So we're talking about the run defense is not great, but out of all the teams,
Nick Chubb,
unstoppable.
I think Nick Chubb's the best running back in the NFL right now. Ooh. Derrick Henry's also very, very, very good.
Yeah,
but just watching Nick Chubb, anytime I watch the guy, it's just he's always churning out positive yards. Crack him if you got him, son.
Yeah,
to me, Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
To me, Nick Chubb, and maybe TP20.
Okay,
Chubb is damn good, dude.
Okay,
Chubb is damn good. I wonder how big his Chubb is.
More than average.
Boots says Jerry, when asked why he didn't make another trade before the deadline, Jerry said,
I'm stretching my neck, bro.
And then Kilo says it's cardio time. Make him dance because he said that Anthony needs some more positive energy in here.
I can't hear it. I can't.
Well, that was a short one.
I just assumed by you guys dancing that I had to go.
Oh, and you didn't hear me say the stretching my neck, bro.
But I read it and I kind of, I kind of.
I felt the room pick up a little bit there, though.
Okay, and then so Mr. Cooper Gazelle says Chubb and Henry, yes, but will we see them in the playoffs, aka Super Bowl?
Titans probably.
Okay,
Titans you'll see in the playoffs. Browns definitely not.
So who on our games coming up do we see that we're going to struggle?
You know
with
who?
that run
Sorry,
defense?
you know who is going to be a problem in the playoffs when we do see them inevitably is going to be those San Francisco 49ers with CMC.
CMC?
Yeah,
Good call.
baby,
CMC
yeah.
had a very good game. Not even so. CMC last week he had a rushing touchdown, pass or receiving touchdown, and a passing touchdown.
Yeah.
Last time it was done, but was by LaDainian Tomlinson, I think in like 2005.
And all I heard was Booby Miles' uncle being like, he can run, he can spin, and he can throw a touchdown.
So before we sign off here, I just want to quickly look at 3 games. I want to see who the Giants, the Commanders, and the Eagles are all playing. The Eagles actually play tomorrow night, I think.
Eagles have their next 5 games are fucking chump change.
I'm pretty sure the Eagles play tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football, and you know I will be watching that game.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it'll be the first non-snooze fest game. Okay,
Actually, last Thursday night, it wasn't terrible.
You shut your mouth, Anthony.
I'm sorry.
Do the Giants have a bye too?
Yeah, the Giants do have a bye, you're right. So it's just the Eagles and the Commies.
You going to go Eagles schedule 2022?
So we got the other Texas team playing against the Eagles tomorrow night.
I forgot there was another Texas team.
Now I'm reminding you.
Yeah, Eagles and Texans, and then the Eagles versus the Commanders.
Oh, fuck.
On Monday
On that's Monday night, so back-to-back primetime games. But what do we got? Okay, so it's Eagles and Commies this week are playing. So the Eagles are tomorrow night, and then we're going to be streaming actually the Commies versus the Vikings on Sunday.
Vikings Sunday, 10 a.m. Yeah.
So we're Vikings fans and Houston fans.
Yeah. Hey, we also have to do power rankings.
Okay, yeah, let's skirt through that and we'll sign off.
Some powers.
Let's do the power rankings on NFL.com and then we'll sign out.
Anyone in chat who has a guess for the rankings, go ahead and throw it in.
What were we last week? We were 4, weren't we?
And for those of you who are new
Yeah,
new to this pod and this live streaming, we never look at the rankings until we're live here.
So if we were 4 last week, I honestly think we'll probably be. I think we probably dropped. I think we're going to be 5. I'm going 5.
I'm going to say 4.
You're saying we dropped from last week?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I don't think we're going above 4.
No, I think I think we're staying.
So you're going 4 and 4?
Yeah.
4, and I'm saying 5.
Well,
all
we
right.
can't double down.
Well, we're not gonna. I mean,
we can't double down on the same number.
Well, let's just say this: we're not better than the Bills. We're not better than the Eagles, and we're not better than the KC Chiefs.
Chiefs are gonna put a.
So maybe 4. So 4 is probably actually.
That's what I said.
You said 4, but Ad can't double down.
No, you can't double down on my 4.
Ant said 5, so what I'm fucking... I fine,
You have
we're
to say
3.
6.
3 or 6?
Hey, guess what? Fuck you guys.
3 or 6?
This is
Fuck
Price
you guys.
is Right,
we're
bro.
3.
I kind of hope Ad hits 3.
We're 3rd, baby.
Okay, here we
We're
go.
3rd. 3-1-3rd.
Green Bay Packers. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
Is it going to be the Eagles first? I hope not. It's got to be though, right? They're 7-0.
Bills.
Wow.
Bills. The
Interesting.
Bills.
I thought the Eagles were going to take the top spot because they're 7-0.
Bills in
But
the
the
number
Bills-
1 spot. The Eagles are in number 2 at 7-0.
And the Dallas,
Wait, AJ, did you say 3?
Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah,
We're going to be
KC
4?
Chiefs. Here we go.
Are we going to be 4 again?
KC Chiefs. Number 4, the Dallas
Yeah.
Cowboys. Woo! Ding,
We're-
ding, ding, ding,
we're-
ding.
The Prescotts. We all knew we were going to be 4.
Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't want to go with 4 again, but
Follow
wow,
closely.
what were we 3 weeks ago? 2?
Yeah. Dallas Cowboys it's done.
I think we were between like 15, 18 for sure.
Yeah, we were definitely out of like the top Yeah,
Yeah,
15.
yeah.
I would rather not. Here's what I want. I would rather not be anything. I wouldn't want to be in the first spot right now. I want us to obviously continue to battle and win over the next few weeks, but I definitely want an early Christmas present, and I want us to serve up that fucking Eagle loss.
I have that
Christmas
circled, man. December 24th. I'm
Like you're gonna.
that's
watch
like
the game?
Christmas.
Yeah.
That's Christmas. It's on, I think, it's on a Saturday.
No,
Hey,
no, it's Friday.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
is
it
Friday,
is.
Is it?
No,
not?
Christmas is on a Sunday.
Oh, sweet.
hey,
So it's
guys,
on a Saturday. We're playing the Eagles on a Saturday, December 24th. I cannot wait for that game.
Yeah, neither.
Oh, it is. And guys, guess what? Santa might be showing up for that show.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, we should all dress as Santa.
All right, done deal. Way to
Okay,
spoil
so-
the surprise.
So what, we're gonna be live streaming that? Is that where we're going with
Yeah,
the Vikings?
Vikes, Eagles,
No,
Yeah.
Vikings Commanders.
Vikings, Commanders,
10
Vikings, Eagles.
We're gonna do the 10 a.m. games. I'll be present for the morning games, and then if you guys want to keep rolling, you can. I'll be.
Well, maybe AJ and I will.
I'll be heading off to see Dallas Cowboys super fan and Dallas native Post Malone that
Malone.
night up
Where?
here in Canada.
Where in Van?
Yep.
Nice. We're gonna
All
be
right,
fun.
so I'm gonna call.
And
I'm gonna call us out.
I'm gonna be sporting the Cowboys, and
it's
I
gonna
can
be a long
imagine he's
day.
gonna be like, "Any Cowboys fans out there?" I'm
Are you
like,
actually
"Woo!"
sporting the Cowboys?
Yeah, of course.
What are you
Yeah.
gonna wear?
I'll either wear Parsons or Prescott.
You gotta wear Parsons.
Hey,
Okay, for the
Well-
bandwagon boys over there,
Oh, look at that!
wherever
He's-
you guys. I
he's
can't believe you guys aren't in the stadium with me. Like, how did I sneak in without you guys? For the bandwagon boys over there, and your host Anthbest over here, we will be rolling live for the 10 a.m. games this Sunday. Yeah, the Cowboys aren't around, but we will be. We'll see you guys then, bitches.
Peace. Peace.